Design. It's what makes our world both functional and beautiful. But most design is geared towards about 10% of the world. What about the other 90%? Millions, often crowded into cities with limited resources. They are at the root of a whole new wave of design. Revolutionary.
And then it hit me. A drum is really what we need.
Inventive.
It's just about trying to recognize those energies and let us be inspired by that.
Forward-looking.
I don't think there's any limitation for any human being. All they need is just to be given the opportunity.
Design with the other 90% takes us to the forefront of a design revolution that is changing the way that we look at each other and our world. May 15th, 2011, Cape Town, South Africa. A standoff is taking place between the government's anti-land invasion unit and several hundred squatters. They have taken up residence on Mitchell's Plain, a stretch of land left vacant for years. The government has promised to build houses here, but funding has fallen short of demand.
In South Africa, we got a backlog of housing.
400,000 people are working on housing.
Here, squatter communities like these are considered illegal.
We need houses, please. We need houses, no violence. We need houses.
Events like this illustrate a fundamental problem facing many cities today.
They are not asking for the world, people. They just want a dignified life so that they can take their kids to school, so that the kids have a safe environment. And that's what people want.
Most of the cities are not ready to absorb all of the people. They don't have sufficient accommodation, they don't have the health infrastructure, they don't have the schools.
The end result? Informal settlements, or urban slums. Around the world, over 1 billion people live this way. By 2030, that number will double. Cut off from formal city services, often left to their own devices. Their contributions to cities are easily overlooked.
These are communities that are enterprising, that are full of energy, they're economically vibrant, they're part of the informal economy of the city, they constitute 60 to 80% of the city's population. The industries want them because they bring in cheap labor. So under all those circumstances, if you look at these communities, they're a huge asset to the city.
Within this dynamic is an engine of innovation. The people highlighted in the Cooper Hewitt exhibition, Design with the Other 90% Cities, are pioneers of a new way of thinking about the world. And more than thinking, they're doing. Curator Cynthia Smith launched a multi-year effort to discover, document, and share their design solutions.
The people who are actually living in the informal settlements, they're part of the international conversation that's taking place. And that's the interesting part. That's the design with the other 90%. They're bringing what they know about and living in these conditions, and they're partnering with the architects and the urban designers and the urban planners and their local governments to improve their conditions. And that's a really wonderful opportunity.
The exhibition celebrates dozens of forward-thinking ideas, from digital technology in a drum to a brand new town. "50 miles outside Nairobi, Kenya, a community is in the making. Kapute Newtown will soon have 2,000 homes, all funded by Jamii Bora Trust, a savings and loan program founded by 50 women who were once street beggars in Nairobi.
Jamii Bora means good families. So that is because there were many families of many street mothers all together. So they were like, we have to give it a name that revolves around families. And it was started at the initiative of 50 street beggars.
Maisha ya street ni ngumu sana. Mahali umeenda kujificha pia inakuwa ni kama ujui maisha utamuka aje na utalala aje.
These ladies put aside 10 shillings every day. And the money grew and grew.
As Jamii Bora's savings grew, the women were able to take out business loans and make the step from street beggar to entrepreneur.
Kwa mwaka moja nikapewa 2,000, nikafundishwa vile nitarudisha. Lakini kuchagua ile business yangu ni mimi mwenyewe.
Jamii Bora grew from 50 women to over 220,000 members in just 10 years. Rather than wait for government assistance, the members of Jamii Bora decided to determine their own future.
That is when Jamii Bora Trust bought the piece of land in Kisaju, Kajiado, and decided to put up houses.
Not just houses, but an entire solar-powered town. Schools, stores, public spaces, all the elements of a well-designed community. Housing had to be affordable, and construction costs had to be low. The solution? A design that uses sweat equity and local materials.
When you are working in the factory, that means you can have money for food, dressing yourself, and taking care of your family, also buying a good house.
Construction provides jobs and helps people earn money to pay for their homes. From street beggar to entrepreneur to artisan.
Good now. This is good now, you can see.
The women have designed a new way of life for themselves and their families.
We had all sorts of resistance. People living around who thought, oh my God, now Jamii Bora Trust has bought this huge piece of land. We intend to come and build our big homes here, and they plan to bring the poor people from the slums. There's going to be crime. But eventually, the community around got to see the benefit of this project for themselves.
I, being their leader, we are very, very happy because it has given the community, or my community, the Kaputeis, benefits.
These roof tiles will soon top Kapute's newest buildings.
If the tiles are not good, they have a dull sound. You hear? That's a good sound.
Halfway finished, Kapute Newtown is already coming to life.
Hapa nilikuja 2009. Welcome to my house. I'm very happy to see the visitors. Maisha yangu imebadilika. Kwa sababu hata kazi nimepata kazi hapa ya kuuza kwa duka yangu. Watoto wangu unajua wakati nimekuwa kwa street hawakusoma. Na saa hii mtoto wangu mkubwa nimempeleka kwa driving. Mtoto wangu wa 4 saa hii nimempeleka college. Hiyo ni maajabu sana, imebadilisha maisha yangu.
I don't think there's any limitation for any human being. Everybody is capable. Even very poor people are capable of getting out of poverty. All they need is just to be given the opportunity.
That was an amazing group. They were street beggars. They didn't even have houses. They were on the street, could pool their money, purchase land, and then begin to design and build and work with architects to create this new town was revelatory.
Through careful saving, the women of Kapute Newtown dreamt big and built their future. But the biggest dreams in the world can't come to anything if people's essential needs aren't met. One of the most important is water. In informal settlements, water is often unsafe, expensive, and hard to obtain. Supplying water to the formal city is relatively easy. But designing a better way to get it to the rest requires some creative thinking. In the Philippine capital of Manila, only a quarter of the population had reliable piped water. In the slums, most people shared public sources with hundreds of residents.
Magising kami alas 4, madaling araw, para makapila kami ng maaga. Tanghali ka na makabalik. Kasi lahat ng taga rito, hindi lang taga rito, doon nag-aigib sa barangay.
Hours wasted every day just buying water. And usually it costs 5 to 20 times what a utility would charge. But most slum dwellers can't afford connection fees.
Talagang kakapusan ng tubig, ang 2 balde, ang 3 container, pinagkakasya sa ilang maliligo. Kasi kung wala, alangan naman na gastusin sa lahat ng sa pagkain, pag-inom.
The problem is twofold. Water utilities have trouble connecting in densely populated settlements, and residents often can't afford initial connection fees. A utility that designed a way to connect people at a reasonable price would tap into a huge customer base and provide a much-needed service. That was the brilliance behind the Tubig Para sa Barangay program, Water for the Poor.
The first and most important obstacle was actually psychological. People had the general assumption that the poor people could not afford to pay for piped water, which is really ironic because they would pay 4, 5, 6 times what it cost for piped water at the time.
Manila Water Company saw this untapped market and set about tackling the obstacles to connection. They eased land title requirements and designed group taps so many households could share connection costs. Meters were located in public places to eliminate illegal tapping, a public health hazard. Community members were hired to manage the project.
And each of those districts was being managed by a territory manager. And he was responsible for 5 things: credit and collection, non-revenue water, customer service quality, and community relations.
Unang-una, sa isang barangay, 40 sikol man lang sa barangay captain. Kilalanin yung mga kagawad, mga officials, and then down to the smallest unit ng community. Kapitbahayan, batiin mo bawat isa sa kanila, yung concern nila, bilisan mo ang aksyon para maramdaman nila na you care.
Residents have seen a big change in their community since water arrived. Quality of life improves, and so does the economy.
Bali, nag-iba yung schedule namin. Unang-una, bali, kung gusto magising ng medyo tulo tanghali, pwede. Kasi nandyan naman yung tubig, naka-ready naman lang. Pagbukas mo lang, ready na may tubig na.
In fact, when they were connected to piped water, all of a sudden, it was an improvement in their economic situation because now they could get good, clean water piped to the home 24/7.
Manila Water has transformed the lives of 1.5 million people with a design for reliable and safe water that could point a way forward for cities around the world.
That kind of ability to take a circumstance like that and really come up with what seems to be a very sustainable solution. Sustainable in the sense of socially sustainable, economically sustainable, environmentally sustainable. We can really take that and share that with other communities that are going through this rapid growth.
In Bangladesh, the stakes are particularly high. Here, people are succumbing to what's been called the largest mass poisoning in human history. Half the world lives in cities, and 1 of 3 city dwellers live in informal settlements, the slums. Bangladesh is one of the most densely populated countries in the world. In addition to the typical challenges of poverty and overcrowding, people here face an invisible and deadly enemy in their drinking water. 70% of the wells in Bangladesh are contaminated with arsenic, a naturally occurring toxin. Arsenic poisoning is slow and painful. Continued exposure can lead to organ failure and death. It's estimated more than 75 million people are exposed to arsenic in their water. It's a problem from small villages to big cities. The World Health Organization calls it the largest mass poisoning in human history. One solution has come from a Bangladesh native living half a world away.
The place where I live, my family and where I came from is Kushtia, Bangladesh. Like in my house, we have been drinking basically arsenic-containing water like anybody, most of the people. So once you know that there is arsenic and family is drinking arsenic, and as an analytical chemist, I can only measure it, but I didn't know what is the solution to the problem.
Hussam was motivated to design a solution. It had to be affordable and work everywhere, even off the grid.
It has to be gravity fed. It has to run in an environment where there is no electricity.
Hussam's team tested over 200 prototypes. The design they came up with is inexpensive and easy to assemble. They're manufactured in a factory in Hussam's hometown, creating over 200 jobs. All the parts are local materials. A composite iron matrix absorbs the arsenic. River sand, brick chips, and charcoal remove particles and organic matter.
The design has a lot of input from the villagers. This is a pour and collect system. We pour about 20 liters of water, which is exactly the size of the pitcher for collection of water in Bangladesh. The gravity pulls it through, and then 1 hour you collect that water, and that's free from arsenic.
It's a design that's easy to manufacture, simple to use, puts people to work, and saves lives. 225,000 filters have been delivered throughout the country, providing safe drinking water for more than 1 million people. And just as the flow of safe water can transform a community, so can the flow of information. According to the United Nations, internet access is a basic human right. But in Africa, most people don't have online access. One organization has designed a way to get them connected.
The world is increasingly being divided into two groups of people, those who have access to technology and information and those who don't.
Uganda, 34 million people, fewer than 10% of them connected to the internet. UNICEF is working to fill the gap with their design for rugged computer kiosks made from recycled oil drums.
It's sort of like a really heavy and difficult to steal laptop.
Most of the solutions out there are very expensive.
The shell alone was costing almost $10,000 to $11,000.
So we had to come up with another solution of reducing the cost for the shell. And then it hit me, a drum is really what we need. It's rugged, it's sturdy, it's recyclable, it's very cheap.
It's a local design. It can be assembled locally.
Installed in both urban and rural areas, these digital drums are bringing the global online community to people with no internet access.
We're hoping to be able to fill a lot of that gap with these.
UNICEF plans to fabricate and install 50,000 drums in Uganda, connecting the country to the rest of the world and the future. Connections can create change on a global scale or on a local, personal one. 10 years ago in South Africa, a young designer was seeking a way to connect with his city.
When you come to South Africa, everybody makes sure that you become afraid. They'll say, be careful of this, be careful of those, be careful of there, be careful of poor black people. One day, out of frustration, I decided to go for a walk. to go for a walk in town, through town. I didn't quite know where I was going. Wanting to break free from this kind of paralyzing state of fear. When I approached to what is known the most dangerous part of town, my experience was entirely the opposite to what I've always been told in this country. This high level of humanity. Clearly, you know, there was this gap that existed in the way that the haves perceives the have-nots. Those kind of moments in my life has actually brought me to a position into who I am and what I do now. And since that walk, then I've been walking for 11 years I've been walking.
Dong was drawn to the informal vendors trying to earn a living. A small quantity of goods for sale at their feet.
And then he sat on a piece of stone or on a ledge of a wall. And that was it.
He started to talk to them about their work. What were their problems? What did they need?
Spaza de Move On, it means a shop on the move. The shop on the move, yeah. What it is, it's a chair. And what it does, it opens up, and as it opens up, it flips over again, and it becomes a little table. And then the inside is the storage of all of the items that the trader is going to sell. Like that. But again, it is in development. And it's a very small product, but yet within that embedded is 10 years of walking, of talking, of smiling, of just being together with the people that uses that space. What we could do is just take it round through the bovine and then comes into the market, and then we can ask people in that market what do they feel of that, and this market what do they feel of it. You would have your stuff inside.
My name is Kosing Pile Matone from village. This is nice thing. Good. Put it like this.
Dung hopes that in addition to making their days easier and more comfortable, Spaza de Move On might help informal traders appear more legitimate in the eyes of the local authorities.
What's important is that they understand everybody who may be involved in the solution. So all the users, all the stakeholders, everybody who might want to make use of this solution that they're going to create. And so one of the really important things is that designer has that full empathy and understanding and feeling about what other people might want and need.
If you had to change something out of this, what would you change?
What would I change? We'll put another 2 wheels here.
Another 2 wheels here?
Yeah, 4 wheels.
It's designed through dialogue that honors the work that informal traders are doing.
People who live and work have to traverse from the outskirts of the city into the center of the city to sell their wares. This architect designed a solution to that, something where you could easily transport it, turns into a seat where you can sit on it, you open it up, and it's your display table.
It's not about an approach of design. It's just about trying to recognize those energies and let us be inspired by that. You know, so this is the idea of looking at from the chair to the pavement, as in this notion of the Spaza de Move On as the spirit of what we can do.
This spirit of what we can do is at the heart of Design with the Other 90%. Around the world, people are working together to overcome daunting challenges.
As an architect and a designer, the most important thing for me is to actually understand the problem.
Transform their communities.
And that work was done voluntarily. It's only the spirit of togetherness.
Revolutionize healthcare.
People had the solution in their pocket, which makes this the largest use of mobile phones for the delivery of healthcare information ever undertaken.
And build for the future.
The transport system is one of the most powerful things to change things, to connect the society.
I have to tell you, I'm an optimist. Design can really be a tool to help find solutions to what appear to be kind of insurmountable problems. But in fact, we have the ability to kind of overcome these and actually maybe have a better planet.
It's an ongoing evolution of ideas and inspiration, looking forward to the 21st century and beyond.
This community, they is not growing for themselves. They grow for their nation.
Yamanak nasema yende mbele, saya somesha jamii yo, yasomesha jamii bora, Yamanak nasema yende mbele, nasema yende mbele, Yamanak nasema